Hello, hello, here's me, looking absolutely lovely with my amazing top knot. Yeah, not really sure what's going on with my hair, but Mike is still pretty cute though. Anyway, on to the next one. There's my booty, So I was scrolling on Insta and found some of these lovely tie-dye baby grows, and I was like, you know what, I want to do that for myself. And I realised that I have tons of baby clothes sitting around in bags, so I had a little rumble through, found very blatantly right there some long sleeved, got little mittens, little feet. This baby grow, decided that was perfect, so put it down on top of my cat, and then remembered that I've got a little matching hat somewhere. There we go, not a set, but still cute, so I decided what to dye them. This is me realising that I don't have elastic bands, but I do have an absolute ton of hair ties, so I'm going to use them. Perfect. So this is me running a very hot bowl of water. The dye that I'm using is the Dylon, I think, Velvet Black. It's actually meant for putting in the drum of the washing machine, but as you can see I didn't do that. Not really sure why, but I went and put, I can't tell you how much, I just kind of guessed, I'm sorry. So I did have a little look online beforehand for some different patterns that I liked, and I found, I think it's called a bullseye design, so I kind of tried to replicate that, but I did find that the fact that I was using hairbands meant that some of the dye actually soaked through, so it didn't kind of leave the little white circle pattern that I was after, unfortunately. You will see later on. So I kind of just winged it really. I just shoved all the elastic bands from the top to the bottom, leaving probably, I don't know, I want to say that's like 3 finger widths in between. Just, you know, you can kind of wing it, whatever design you like. But yeah, I just went to town. Some of them were really, really stiff. But yeah, I made sure to kind of take the fabric and almost twist it slightly before I put the band around it, so that you got that kind of crinkledy, like wobbly line effect, if that makes sense. Because I knew that if the fabric was kind of almost folded over in places, that was going to hopefully leave some blank space behind, so the dye wouldn't get to that. Does that make sense? But yeah, that's what I was trying to do, just kind of crumple it up, scrunch it all up, and then secure it with the band, if that makes sense. The one thing that I had to make sure to do was to close all of the gaps with the bands. Sometimes I would put a band on and have to go back and move it back up so that there was no lines in between. So yeah, stuck them on nice and secure. Kind of when it got to the feet, I was like, I'm not really bothered what happens here. So I debated leaving the feet all one colour, but as you can see, I did not do that. Okay, so when it got to this point, I realised I was actually too scared to dunk the fabric completely into the water, so I kind of just splashed it on, if that makes sense. I just like covered my hands in the dye and then dribbled it all on there, if that makes sense. Obviously, if you are using elastic bands and you are confident that they will not soak up the liquid, which I was not, then go ahead, fully submerge, but I didn't, and on reflection I'm glad that I did, because I actually ended up with kind of more watered down colour, rather than, you know, if I'd have kind of fully dipped it in and soaked it. Onto the hat, I didn't have a plan for this. I kind of tried to mimic the design that I'd done on the actual baby grow, but because it was kind of such a small piece of fabric, it was quite difficult to do the same. So I kind of focused on the ears, making sure that some of the little ears were poking out, and then I just kind of guessed and just went crazy, and turned out alright in the end, so trust the process, you know? And again, back with the dribbling. Dribble that dye all over. Yeah. I just gassed, you know, just went for it. Who cares? Here I am, not actually having a clue how you put on rubber gloves. Amazing. I should say I did let the items just sit and kind of dry, let the dye soak in for probably just about 10 minutes. They didn't need very long. If you have a bigger item, I would probably say let it sit and soak, maybe even for an hour until it's almost dry to touch, and then go ahead and start doing what I'm doing here, which is just soaking it in cold water. I didn't want to use warm or hot just because I was worried that I would lose quite a lot of the dye. The cold kind of in a way felt like it locked it in. So yeah, I just wrung them out, made sure that they were not soaking wet, and then went ahead and took off the bands. As you can see here, the hair ties did soak up the dye, therefore meaning that there wasn't the nice little white ring that I was hoping that you would get with elastic bands. So on reflection, don't do what I did. If you want a nice pattern, use elastic bands, something that is water resistant. Then your design should map out the way that you plan it to. So here I am, just admiring my absolute work of art. There's quite a big white patch on it, surprisingly. I'm not sure how that popped up, but, you know, regardless, I was still very, very happy, as you can see, admiring it. So here I am, just taking some non-bio baby safe liquid, probably too much, and just running myself a nice little warm, not hot, I must add, because I was terrified of the colour running the whole time. I took a little bowl of water and swished that around, got nice and bubbly, and popped the clothes in there. The reason I didn't do a full wash is because 1, I was scared of the colour running, and 2, it's not nice to do a big full wash when you've only got one little item, or 2 in this case, I suppose. So here I am, just picking everything up, wringing it out, getting rid of as much soapy, warm water and bubbles as I can, giving it a little cold water rinse as well, just to make sure it's properly clean. As you can see, I lost quite a bit of colour, but I think that's probably because I didn't leave it sitting very long. Yeah, the longer you leave it, the more it's going to soak up. That's just, you know, science, isn't it? And there you have it. I am super happy with how this turned out. Probably going to do like a million different colours, and yeah, love it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. If you do it, if you replicate it, you do your own, show me. I want to see. I love this. I'm going to go and tie-dye absolutely everything I own. Have a good day. Love you all lots. Bye-bye.